This is your captain speaking.
Let's get ready for takeoff.
Welcome to REDEYE FLIGHTS. I'm your captain, Carla.
And I'm your captain, Mary.
And here's where we're going to have all our late night conversations where we can sit back, relax, and have some good old-fashioned girl talk.
Joining us today, we have two flight attendants, Valerie and Sarah. They're not really flight attendants. So. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Val.
I'm Sarah.
Yay. We are celebrating our New Year's Eve episode. In case you guys didn't notice, Happy New Year's Eve. And FYI, today's my daddy's birthday. He's celebrating his 67th birthday. Got to give him a little shout out.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into it. We're going to have a segment called Jet Lag, and this is kind of where we talk about, like, annoyances or what kind of bothers you. I have to say what mine is first.
Your grievance. Just what is annoying you right in this moment?
Well,
What's
not
your
in
jet
the
lag?
moment, but whenever I'm on airplanes, actually airplanes, is when it lands and people rush to the middle of the lane and like they're gonna like we all don't have to get off the plane too, you know, and you're just like staring at somebody's butt and you're like I have to get off too. Why are you rushing to the front? That's just me. I can't handle that.
That is super annoying.
Give me your grievance, Sarah. What is it?
Oh my goodness. I didn't get your text.
Oh.
Then who did, Bob? Then who did, is my question. I just want to know, is it floating out there?
In technology these days, texts are still
just
going
sucked it on in.
I do say sometimes, I'm like, oh, I didn't see your text because it kind of gets lost in translation sometimes.
And I can say I didn't see it, but I didn't get it.
Like, especially with work.
Yeah.
So.
You know what is where you see somebody on the phone all the time, and then you're like, in front of me, you're on your phone all the time, but we were losing text.
Yes.
We're not receiving them. You know,
It's strapped to your wrist.
What's yours?
I know. You know what? Recently, and I don't know, it's people flipping off the camera. Like with pictures.
Oh,
I don't know why. It's just
what
so
age group
annoying.
is this?
I don't know why. It irritates me. I'm just, like, it'll be a good picture, and then you just see somebody, like, flipping off the camera.
Like, who's doing that?
Why are you doing that?
I don't know if I've gotten. I'm not in the cool crowd.
Right.
Nobody's flipping off.
Not since high school.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Don't name drop, okay?
No names
I'm
will
on
be dropped
I'm
tonight.
ready. I would like to know. I was going to tell you guys my grievance, my jet lag is, why am I in the bathroom stall and the gap is so thick? Why am I making eye contact with the ladies in line in the restroom? Like, what is that? Who's in charge? Who is engineering these ladies' restrooms where I'm making eye contact? And let me not get started with when you wear a romper.
Oh, goodness.
Your bad wardrobe decisions in the restroom, making eye contact with the people outside of it.
It's already a vulnerable situation.
I've been there, and you always question your decisions when you put on a romper. You're like,
How many times I can't drink. There's no drinking. I'm in a romper.
Don't even look at the water.
that's hilarious.
I love it.
All right, well, we're going to dive into it. Are you ready?
I am.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you want to start out?
Sure. Again, today's topic is just the big umbrella of dating. Bam, bam, bam. So, what's your current dating situations?
I am single.
Let me give a little... The reason why we brought on Val and Sarah
Okay,
is because
give it to us.
they're single, successful women
dying
raising their
of these
babies,
women.
and so we wanted to bring them on because they've been there dating, and we kind of want to know, like, what their situation is and how it is dating, so that's... And then also, like, single mama empowerment kind of deal, so we wanted to bring them on and kind of share their experiences with us.
Oh.
Yes.
We're here for it. No. Okay, single mama. Recently single. I just got out of a relationship in September.
Oh.
So, spending the holidays. Honestly, I always have it with my family regardless. We're very close, so it's not a huge change, and I'm happy, though. I'm at peace. I'm dating El Paso City. No. Taking myself on dates. There you go.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Val?
I am single as they come right now. I was in, I guess, a situationship for a while. But yeah,
For a long while.
for a long while.
What is a long while?
Oh, it carried on off and on for a few years.
Oh, God,
wow.
I was ready for
Yes.
months.
No.
Oh, shoot.
This was for a few years.
A situationship.
A situationship. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that, like, officially ended, 4 months ago. Like, zero contact.
Oh, wow.
Zero contact.
Do you want to talk about, like, any of it? Or
Oh, I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole reason it was a situationship is
give us a description of a situationship and then how it happened like that.
okay. So it wasn't a relationship per se, you know, because I feel like I think I was more wanting a relationship, and he kind of gave a little bit of a pushback, but never really like a full reason why. And just recently I found out, well, the reason was he was literally living a secret life. Married with his...
I need a sip.
Yes.
With his
Married with his family. With his family. Baby mama. 2
We got
kids.
ready to turn around.
He is ready for this.
Yeah. Said, wait a minute. Well, I need to turn
You know,
around.
and Val's like, let me just give you a backstory. I've known Val for a long time, long time. And
We all go back for a long time.
Yeah, we do.
And she is like super independent, you know, and she's been very strong and independent. So when she kind of got into this situation, I was like, oh, I liked it. I liked how she was feeling like loved. And so, yeah, kind of give more of your.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't like, I would have never imagined that he had this relationship, that he was back with his wife. Never in a million years. Never in a million years. We weren't hiding. We were going out in public places. We would go on double dates with people.
Oh my
I was, you guys, his family would be there. His brother, his sister-in-law. Like, his family would be there.
So they were all just like make-believing, or was he living a lie to the whole thing?
I have no idea. To this day, I really don't know, because it was just kind of like a mutual friend gave me this insight just recently. And, you know, I thought it was something it just happened maybe recent.
Yeah.
No. This has been going on for 2 years.
Wow.
For
In
2
the beginning.
years. Yeah.
Wow, my eyes
So,
twitching.
yeah, it was, I mean, that's a whole nother episode in itself. I think I could go into detail about all the
about
red
how we
flags. Yes, all the red flags I miss now,
The
but
circus
They
was
look so
calling
pretty
me.
at the time.
I loved it. I love the color red.
The color's red.
I'm here for the circus. Give me your best dance.
That's hilarious.
Oh, wow. Well, I love that you guys caught us up with all of your current dating situations. So Mary and I are just going to go back and forth, just asking you guys questions and kind of going from there.
Dive in.
Do you want to do the first one? That's a cute
Sure. So how do you date, or how do you date in today's modern, or what is it like now in today's times? Like, what do you use dating apps, like, or how are you dating? Or are you not dating?
I am not dating currently. I don't even know where do you date? Like, where do you meet somebody? I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm old, and in the 90s, we didn't have phones. Do you use dating apps?
I do not. So, okay, well, social media is kind of like a dating app.
Well, yeah,
I have found.
Who's jumping in your
However,
DMs?
who is a different question. But I feel like it's a little bit safer on social media. I could be very delusional on that. But I feel like if I know a friend of a friend that knows you, so
I was
like,
just about to
if
say.
I come up missing, somebody's going to know it was you.
There's a rabbit hole
Somebody's
here.
going to air tag me. I know I'm going to be okay. I feel like if I can go back and find your mother and your dog walker and everybody else and link people together, it's a little safer than going on a random dating app. Because you know what? The one and only time that I did, it was a married person who kept trying to pursue a talk with me. And I said, I don't remember why we came up to the conversation of why he could only have a date from this time to this time. And I'm like, okay,
Wait, so when you were
suspicious.
talking to him, you didn't know he was married and you found out?
No, I found out
Okay,
before
tell
I
us
even
about that.
met him.
Okay, tell us
So this
about
was
that.
just through a dating app. We were just messaging through there. He was trying to
He was on
set
a
up-
dating app and he's married?
Yes, very out in the open. Like he had pictures of himself and all, of like him and like
wow.
just him. And I forgot. We were talking about making a plan, and it was very just like, no, only from this time to this time. And I'm like, okay, Batman, like, we can't do it. Are you fighting crime all the other times? What's going on? And he then very casually mentions, well, no, because my wife's at work.
He flat out told
He
you?
flat out told me. And this was already a
Wow.
week in. And I'm like,
is it respectable? Like, oh, well, shoot.
no. And I'm like, oh, is she invited? Are we gonna... Are we playing checker? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand. And he was like, no, she doesn't know. But she knows that she leaves me lonely, so she should expect this. And that was it, silence. And I'm
How old was he?
Okay, so this was probably when I was 32.
okay.
He was a couple years older than I was.
Oh, God.
I think he was like 37 at the time.
So was he going through a divorce?
No.
Oh.
No, he was very much married because he was like, oh no, she gets home at this time, so I have to make sure that I'm home at the... Oh, okay.
Someone has to
do you
cook
want to
dinner.
put in your description there's an escape plan or like please ring the bell twice, knock? I didn't understand. He was very open about it once you started.
You know what? I have a question about dating apps. Do you get to pick, like, a cutesy name?
No, you put your name.
Yeah, you put your
I signed up my sister a long time ago.
Did you give her a fake name?
Mama Longleg.
Did anybody swipe on her?
You know what? Honest to God, no sooner did I start it, she deleted it.
No, that was
Mama
myself
Longlegs
too.
was not a win for her.
And it literally was.
Me and Chris did it, by the way. It wasn't just me.
And she had no idea this entire
No
time.
idea. I was trying to make her a love man with a non-married person.
And mine happened to sign up like over a conversation with a drink with one of my girlfriends at a bar, and by a week later I deleted it. It was so overwhelming.
You signed up at a bar?
Like I was at a bar and we were joking about dating apps.
I feel like that's the best place to do
yeah.
it.
So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's see what happens. We did not like what happened. So
So now dating is more like, I guess, social media or like through mutual friends? Or,
yes,
yeah?
because usually it's somebody that I know and they have a friend, or like I very casually met them at like a very big group function and they're like, oh, hey, so we met kind of, and then they'll reach
I
out.
love that. How did you meet Mr. Married Man?
Well,
Oh,
just through mutual
life?
life.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Life in general, without
Life in
saying
general. Okay.
too much.
In a relationship, do you guys have a love language?
I like to gift give.
Oh, I love that.
But I like to do like personal gifts. Like I like to make, like make things
Is that what you
personalized.
like?
No,
Like, in
I like
return,
to
what do you
I
like
like
to?
to give it.
Oh, so you're a gift giver.
I'm a gift giver.
But
Yeah.
what do you
But what do you like
in
from
return?
them? Like, what do you like your partner to do?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not too big on really. I'm very simple when it comes to dating. I'm very simple. Just give me some attention. Like, make time for me.
Yeah.
Make time for
Are
me.
we at that
Prioritizing.
point of our life where we have to ask, just in a relationship, like, just make time for me? Like, we can't even get, like, bold, like, please love me more.
But see, I think like
Is that what today's standard is?
well, like for me personally, I don't have a lot of time.
Oh, you
Because,
don't.
I
absolutely
don't. I don't because
You can date me because I'm with you all the
there
time.
you go. I see Carla 7 days a week. Our kids are in every
Everything.
activity together.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Chris and I, we come as a duo.
It's the intention, like, on the time that you do have.
Yes. Do you have an hour for lunch? Perfect.
Yes.
Like that is perfect for
Can
me.
we go grab breakfast?
Yes.
Like, your work schedule's pretty flexible, right? So
Right.
it's like...
I'm lucky in that aspect that I get to like rearrange my schedule however I want for work, but I don't have hours at a time or days at a time.
Exactly.
So if you can make an hour for me in the morning, an hour for me
Okay.
at lunch, like that is perfect for me.
That seems very, attainable.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yes. The bare minimum.
I'm going to tell you, my husband and I, we've been married for 4 years, and, I mean, we're still learning a lot of things, but he asked me to go have coffee this morning, and I'm like, literally, that's all I need, Like, just
What a
to,
sweet day.
I know.
That's
That's a very
cute.
sweet day.
Yes.
I
just
love
go
that.
have some, he says cafecito. He's like, can we go have some cafecito? I'm like, oh,
Aw.
yes,
Well,
but it has to be fast. I'm always like in a rush,
You're
I
all,
feel bad because he's all
Sweet
sweet.
moment. She's like, yes, but make it
She's
now.
like, hurry up.
This coffee better be from our kitchen.
Hey, I would love that. If we had like an espresso machine, and he's a coffee connoisseur.
Oh my gosh,
so.
Chris's dad has, Papa Mark, he has a very cool coffee machine, and every time we go over, we have like 4 different great espressos. I leave feeling great.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I know, I love absolutely. I mean, I need that machine at home. What's your love language?
All of them. No.
Just love me.
Just love me.
And
No,
don't be married.
I'm very much the same way, and it really is that because I have 2 kids full time, and they're in activities and my job and all. It really is just making the quality time quality. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. Come give me a hug, say I'm pretty, and be on your way. Drop off a coffee. It doesn't have to be elaborate all the time.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Ask me a question.
What are the qualities that you look for in a man? Because you don't date a lot, right? Like, so, like, what qualities you look for in a man, you know, that has to go with what you believe and, like, your family and what you do, you know?
So I found out very recently in the past 2 relationship then situation that I've had.
Situationship.
Right?
I learned that today.
You know, I think the matter of family is so important of them having, and they don't have to have exactly the type of family that you have or grow up the way that you did. But it has to be somewhat similar because I've noticed when I've gone down the other end of just like, oh, they don't have that, so I can give them that. I have an amazing family, amazing support system.
I love that.
And I'm like, and my family like just welcomes people with open
Everybody,
arms.
yes.
My family's
We
beautiful.
love the strays.
Yes. Speaking, not everybody gets to meet the family, but my family's very loving that way. And, you know, you think that everybody's going to embrace it and be so happy to be like, you know what, I've never grown up with that, and I love this. I have that family dynamic. And, you know, people can actually go the opposite way and be like, it's uncomfortable. I didn't grow up with that. I'm not that close to my family. Why do you always have to be around
It could
them,
be
you know?
overwhelming for people.
Yes. And I did not expect that. I never thought about that.
Where they are like, I don't want to be with your family all the time.
Exactly. Where it literally came down to my birthday and him being like, I'll come and see you, but like we have to do something just us. And I'm like, well, I usually spend my birthday with my family, so like let's all do dinner. And he's like, no, like I'm flying in for you. Yes, and that's where I was just like, oh, we're going to celebrate this birthday without you.
Had he ever met your family?
He had. He
I
had.
mean, even for your birthday, he didn't want to.
I find that some people are overwhelmed with big family. It's
Yes.
wild. Like I have a good friend who just is like, your family exhausts me. I love them all very genuinely, but they exhaust. It's too much. And then my mom wants to hug you 75 times
I love your mother.
and I'm here for all of them. And then, you know, so it's just like too much for some people, and I get it. It is. What's a quality you look for?
I have to say the same because I mean, well, you guys know my family.
Yeah,
like
you're
we're
super
tight.
family-oriented,
You know,
You guys are actually a well-oiled machine.
Yes, we are.
You guys
tight.
are on it.
Yeah, my family. I mean, you know, being a single mom, like my family is my backbone.
Yeah. they're
You
your
know, they
support.
are my support system. They are my backbone. They are everything to me. So it's kind of the same. I mean, my free time, I'm with my family. We hang out. We
You
do
guys
the.
are similar in your family
Yeah.
sense. Actually,
We
now that I
really
think
just
about
need to
it.
trade information.
No, that's
I'm going to be
you
there
guys are
7
like-
days a week with you guys.
They're
Join
perfect.
me.
Come over.
And you guys are independent. You like
So
still have your
beautifully
jobs,
independent.
You know, like
so established on your own.
Thank you.
Strong.
I'm sure it's not
women.
easy. I know it's not easy, and it
Oh, God,
probably
no.
looks
Hard.
easier
It
from
is.
the outside looking in. But like, what are some of the struggles that like, you know, dating and then having your kids and your family like?
When is an appropriate time even to your date to meet your kids? Do they?
So, my boys have never met anybody that I've dated. And that's just, I mean, that's my personal opinion, like my personal preference, you know, and I'm glad I've never introduced anybody because, I mean, look where I'm at. I'm single right now, you know, none of these
them
people
stuck.
that you know, none of the men that I've dated have really lasted to where I've wanted to introduce them. And it's kind of like my ex, which is my boy's dad, he's introduced some women to the boys, and there's been more than one, and I'm like, let's pump the brakes a little bit, you know? I just
Do you think it's different when dad introduces girls versus mom? I think there is.
I don't know, you know, but my boys are so different. Like my oldest is like, don't ever get a boyfriend, and my youngest is like, Mom, you need a boyfriend, and he's trying to hook me up with every man he sees in the store.
My mom's single. Are you? I'm looking for a dad.
Do you throw a football? How
There
do
you
you
go.
do basketball?
So yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's going to take somebody very special. Spectacular for them to meet my boys.
You know what's crazy? I have this friend who his mom dated, I guess, but like never told him. And when he graduated high school, she was like, okay, well, I have a boyfriend and we're getting married and you're all done. So go have a life. And now I'm going to have mine. And it was crazy admirable. And she's still married to this day. It's been like 25 years.
That's amazing.
I know. I just aged
Yeah,
myself.
my boys, they have no clue that I even go on dates. When I do, they have zero clue it even happens.
Do you go on dates like when they're with their dad, or like how do you find that time?
I do. Like if they're with their dad, I'll make time, you know, or my mom. My mom will watch my youngest. I mean, my oldest is
Deborah.
old enough to,
Love
I know.
her.
Debbie, she's the best.
Shout out.
Her
the best.
cookies are fire.
We'll
We'll tag her below.
Okay, I wanted to just throw out a question for you girls. Would you date a short man? Let's just bring it around.
I have.
Like we live in El Paso. There's not many over 6-footers here, right? Val and I are pretty tall.
What if he was perfect and was just short? My mom says short men have big personalities.
I've dated a shorter man.
Shorter
Did
than
you?
He was shorter than
Because
me.
you're how tall?
I am about 5'6".
Really?
But, you know, I mean, I feel...
I'm 5'5" and you're
No.
taller and
No,
fabulous.
she's like 5'6" because I'm
I'm
5'7",
5'6".
and I'm a little bit taller than her.
My sister's like gigantic then. She's
Bonnie's
5'10".
She's
Yeah,
taller than me.
Bonnie's...
Oh, bless
She's
her
tall.
heart. Her husband's tall.
But, you know, like, when I go out, I want to wear heels.
Oh.
Yes.
So I kind of have to think, like, I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, but...
But
at
I
the
wear
same-
heels with my husband, and he's just like, he's fine.
Oh,
Sometimes
God,
he'll put
Chris
his
is
cowboy boots and he gets him like, yeah,
Gives him
man.
a little inch.
Chris is the same way. I'm not towering him, but I am like right there at eye and eye, and he's like my tall,
Yeah, that's what
beautiful
Justin is.
drink of water is made out. Like he is all about it.
Yeah, that's what Justin
I'm like,
is.
do you feel the way? And he's like, no. He has a tall personality.
See, if I wear heels and they're eye to eye, I'm okay. But if like we're heels and at the end of the night I have to kiss you and I'm going down, guys,
You're like-
I can't. Yeah,
You pick him up.
There's a curb. Hold on.
You're looking for that
got you,
sweet
babe.
curve at the end of the night. Let me prop you and pick him up.
Oh, that's hilarious. Good too. Carla did this cute, detailed outline
did a
for
good
us.
job
Oh,
on it.
we're looking at
She
our
did a
cute
good job
cute.
on it.
Guys, this is fire. I want you to know. I'm going to show our boys. We got Ray's name, and we have a new control tower.
I think we already asked why their last relationships ended, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, okay, planned dates or spontaneous dates?
Oh, cute.
That's a good one. I mean, I think they're both good, but I feel like spontaneous is just,
Better?
it's better. Because you're not, I feel like planned, you're on a timeline, kind of, you know?
Or, like, what's the perfect outfit? What's the,
Yes.
and you think too much.
Yeah.
And then it tends to not work.
Yeah,
See,
spontaneous,
I'm
just
the
go with
opposite.
the
I
wind.
have to have a plan. Like
I
my
need to
whole
know the
life is
outfit.
planned because of my kids and where they have to be and where I have to go. So for me, like having that structure, it makes it easier. Like I'm more at ease. I'm more comfortable on the day. I feel more relaxed if he's like, we're going here. So I know what outfit to have. I hate showing up somewhere and being like, I did not dress for this. And then I feel out
I'm
of place.
always so overdressed. It's exhausting.
You know?
I come to the point, like,
But
I
I
should
love
just
that.
not.
I'd rather be overdressed.
There you go.
Not anymore.
You know, but the heels and Top Golf did not work. No.
Oh my
Let me wear my cute tennis
Remember
dress
the
though
video
and my
that
golf
told me
dress.
the lady that fell in there and her heels were all crazy in the net? No? Okay,
It
passengers.
was I.
Passengers, if you fall in the net at Top Golf, it closes up on
it
you.
goes tight.
And they have to call the fire department to
No.
then bring you
Yes.
down. Don't do it, babes. Don't do it.
I was
Top
there
Golf,
when
not a
somebody
fun
fell
date.
in.
It was you then.
No, it wasn't a girl. When I was there, it was a guy who fell in.
Oh, it was
Oh
a
my
woman, and they said her
Yes.
heel was out, and
No.
I'm all, oh my God, what I would have done to see that, you know?
I was watching.
I was
full
ready
force.
to help
Because
her
like
out.
the net
Yeah.
squeezes, like it encloses them.
It
Yes.
closes, and
Like
you're
a-
there for
Yeah.
everyone to see until the fire.
You're dangling.
Somebody please beat me with a club because I just want to be
Knock
done
me out.
with life at that point.
Leave me there to
Just
die.
just leave me. Everybody go. Turn off the lights.
Turn the lights off.
This is hilarious.
Okay. I'm curious. What is an absolute deal breaker?
In a relationship or on a date?
In a relationship. You know what I think one would be for, I would not do well if they were awful to their mother. If I saw how he behaved with his mom and it wasn't for me, that's like I don't like it. Because that's usually an indication
That's
of how
a
they'll treat all
reflection.
the women in their life. Because mama's mama bird, you know?
Yeah, someone who's just mean.
Yes.
And then, you know, I mean, you've heard this before, but like the way they treat people when you're out, like servers,
Yes.
bartenders.
Yes. That's
So,
mine for sure.
You know what an ick would be if, like sending food back, or like I think that would like if it's literally the worst dish you've ever seen, okay, get rid of it. Otherwise, you're a man. Let's just
Right.
Chris would just be like, I ate that burnt steak and it was great, and now we're
But
off to the
haven't
movies.
you ever
Like,
heard of that where the man is like, or like a guy, single guy, I wish I had a girlfriend because I just ate the wrong order and she would have stood up for me.
oh my god, I would
That
much
is our
rather
job.
be-
Send the food back.
I'll send it back kindly and nicely, but
Yes,
if he doesn't, I'm gonna be like,
absolutely.
you're such a girl.
See, and I'm the opposite. Like, if I get it, I'll just kind of like bear with it.
Oh,
I do. Because I feel
Oh,
bad.
no.
But because I used to work in a restaurant.
But see,
See, but I
that's why
say
my
kindly,
standard.
yes.
But my standard
Well, yes,
is awful
yes.
because I worked it. I'm like, oh no, you done better. I've seen this restaurant do better. Absolutely not. Not on my watch.
That's true.
But, kindly.
My husband will be like, "Oh, I'll just eat it." I'm like, "No, bro, we're spending $45."
Yes, exactly.
Send it back.
I love how he's like, I ate the wrong dish. I didn't even know. Or you know, I feel like Chris never knows what he orders. Like when they always like come out with the food, they're like, "Who got that?" And he's like, "I'm all, what the heck did you order, man?" I know what I got. And he's just like,
I can put a random plate in front of him and he'll eat it.
What's yours? What's your deal breaker?
That is, I pay a lot of attention how they treat people when we're out. I think there's a difference of being firm and there's a difference of being rude, and I can't stand that. And I've never worked in the service industry. I didn't have the heart
God
for
bless
it.
you.
No, honestly, I would not have survived. I take everything
I don't know
personally.
how I did. What's this? You don't like me? Why'd you tip me this?
Right? So
You don't wanna invite me?
my thick skin barely came in like a year ago. So
That's
it would.
an episode for another day. Is like the service
Oh my
industry.
gosh,
Oh
the
my
service.
God. The story.
I just know I wouldn't
it's
have
like
survived.
a small village.
Yes.
And like from the cooks to the bussers to the hosts, there's a whole line of personalities.
Mine,
Dating in
My-
the village.
my deal breaker is like lack of motivation or like lack of ambition. You know, like
I can't be more on fire than that. or equally. Like we need to be equally
yeah, or have like the
ambitious.
same goals, like
Yeah.
the same like conversation, same, you know, not exactly the same. Like you can like, my husband loves movies and he quotes every single movie, and I'm like, I don't know what that, you know, but like kind of being similar in certain values and stuff like that. So
I like that. Can I? You want to jump to one?
no, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna do another one, lady. Hold your hats.
Uh-oh.
Sex on the first date.
Go for it.
Oh God, I'm like ready to pop out.
Come on. We're not getting any younger.
Okay.
It's like, if you want to, if you guys are vibing, hey, go for it. Why
Test
not?
drive that.
Can I say
Be
something?
safe. Be
Can I
safe.
say
Be
something?
safe.
Be safe.
Mary before Christ was a different Mary than she is now. You know?
Mary BC.
Yeah, Mary BC is different than she is now. So I think like I don't know.
I definitely feel like if you're vibing,
Yeah.
I mean, I just think there's just, you got to know what you're working with. There could be a lot of mess
So you
under
could
there.
never marry before. I mean, have like marry before having sex.
Marry, but no, not for this cat. No, I'm married, and you know what's funny? I was thinking about this question because I knew you guys would turn it, and I feel like all my long relationships, we did not have sex on the first date. And Chris, I was like so terrified to ruin anything because he was so perfect. I'm like, this needs to be perfect. So him, I was very different dating him than others, but
You weren't ratchet.
no. And
I was
angel baby.
respectable. I was respectable.
I mean, God knows that I wanted that man since 15 years old. But when he asked me to go on a date with him, I was like, I gotta be a normal person. Don't go crazy. But you know what's funny? You know what I did do? Not the red-eye flights. This is not for children, kids. This one is like smooth landing. You just
shouted him out. You shouted him out. He's gonna listen.
Who is this?
Your dad.
Dad, put your earmuffs. We already prepared.
Hilarious.
He's like, your shout out already happened.
He knows what a train wreck we are. I was going to say, you know what I did do? No sex with Chris on the first date. However, I did pull my weave out. I did take my eyelashes off in front of him. And he was like, what is happening right now? And I was
She did a whole different kind of naked.
And
you want some naked truth.
And he was not even like icked. He was like, this is so fun. Like, this is real. This is nice. He's all wearing it.
Oh my god.
No, he was so fun. But okay, tell me, what's yours?
Okay, so everybody's familiar with Sex in the City.
Oh, love it.
Do we all know what happened to Charlotte?
Yes.
She found her dream man, and what happened?
Oh, shall we say?
She got so
know.
disappointed because
He
she
couldn't
was-
get it
It
up.
did not work.
Because they were Jewish or something, right?
No,
No,
that was
no.
the second
No, that
marriage.
was
That
the
was
second
perfect.
husband.
The
Oh,
first
I
one
remember that
was
Our girl,
perfect.
our
Sorry,
girl.
I'm
Yep.
uncultured.
Perfect through and through, and then comes the
Doctor.
Yes.
Amazing.
I don't remember that. Oh my
Yes,
God.
it was her first
And
the
he
perfect
couldn't
wedding.
perform on
No.
the wedding night, and she was like, "Oh, darn."
And then she comes to find out it's always been a problem, but he never said anything, and she found out by herself. And
She
the poor
was
thing
trying
was
to
already, knee deep, so to speak.
Actually, she wasn't.
She was not knee deep. So to me, look, if you have the vibe, we're all adults. If it
Exactly.
vibes right, you trust the person, be safe, absolutely. But to wait so long and then to find that out, like your poor shattered heart and other pieces.
That's
you know?
tough. You know, which leads me to the next question. I have a girlfriend who was married forever, and she just got recently divorced. True story. She calls me after her date. She was in his restroom and said, it's happening. We're going to have sex. And this was like her very first date after. And she's like, how do I ask him if he has STDs? I'm terrified. And I was like, oh, God, girl, I don't know. And I think I was eating popcorn. I was just sitting there watching TV. I was like, I don't know. Good luck with that, though. Tell me how it goes. And you know what? I honestly, God, don't know how it went.
To this day.
To this day, I forgot to
Yeah,
ask her the update.
that's rough.
But how do people talk about that in today's time? I feel like back then it was like taboo, or even now it's still taboo. You don't
You know
say,
what?
hey, we're going on a date. Let's have pizza. Did you get checked?
In case I want to go after.
In case I'm
I
feeling
have a
you.
story. I wish I could talk
vibing.
about it, but
Oh.
I'll talk about it off.
Okay.
Teaser.
Sorry.
I just
We're
a
gonna have to go
teaser.
to another red light.
Oh,
Red eye
bring
fight.
out BC.
BC Mary. She has some stories.
I mean, that's a tough token, though. Like, in dating world these days, it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
asked.
you have to be very careful nowadays.
Everything.
You have to be so
Yes.
careful.
And then we live in El Paso, and I think it's like our community is so small.
Everyone
and
knows
it's just,
everybody somehow.
You really
Yes.
have to be, I think, open. I think that's one of the best things to be. I think if women are more open with it, then maybe the men will be, because I don't think a man's going to be like, are you getting checked? It has to be.
No.
It has to
Or
be
it
the
has
women
to
in
be
the
the
I've never had a man
Yeah,
ask.
the women are the ones that are like,
Ever.
oh, are you clean? Like, I guess because we're the ones concerned about it, but
This is not to be tainted.
No, I've asked. To me, if he gets off put by that before you ever do anything,
Then
then
you're like,
yeah,
for
then
sure.
that's
Then
a turn off.
something is wrong.
That's a, yeah.
Something is wrong.
That's a turn off. Like, why are you
Dang it.
asking me? Like, I'm so sorry. People are more willing to bare their bodies than bare their souls at that point, you know? And to me,
Oh.
absolutely not. If you can't have that raw of a conversation, but you want to talk about all the crazy things you want to do, no.
There
you go.
Amen, sister. I love
I'm like,
that.
let's be super crazy. Go get tested.
we could go together.
Right? Date number 2.
Because we're not having sex on the first date.
Right? Like, if you can't have that conversation and be that open and honest, then it's not going to go anywhere. Because
Good for
then you know
you.
things are off limits.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
agree.
you.
And
I feel
honestly,
like just get that
yeah,
right off the
the
bat.
older I've gotten, like, I truly don't care what words come out of my mouth, and if I will ask you anything. The Kaiser, like, what the hell? Yeah, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
I will ask.
Well, you know what you like and you know what you don't like
Yes.
right now.
And then
How
you're just
long-
cutting the fat.
How long did
Yes.
it take you to get there, do you think?
Too long.
You're like, I'm not putting up with this anymore.
Hold on, guys. No, it does. You know, I really have a heart of trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. And that has worked against me more often than not, you know, and it's unfortunate. It really is. But I love it about myself. I still will not change it. However, there are people who I will give chances to, and there are people who will sneeze wrong, and I'll just stop talking to
The
them.
ick, right?
It will. It's so odd.
The ick is
Oh, we
real.
gotta talk about the icks.
The ick is real.
Like, what is your ick that you can't come back from ever?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm trying to think of a good one.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll come back to it. I have.
Okay.
You know what? I cannot with smells. Like, there's just, like, if there's a smell anywhere, you know, I need the hair, everything needs to smell good.
Yes.
I cannot, if I get a whiff of bad smell, I can't come back.
You know what my ick is?
Okay.
Well, I don't have it with my husband.
so sweet, and I'm all,
No.
don't say.
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like when they're very like protective of their phone. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, that's
Like,
a weird ick.
I know. I'm
I
just
want
like
a bodily
ugh.
ick. What's your
That's
bodily
a red
ick?
flag, I feel.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
like when they flip over their phone.
Maybe that's
You
what
know,
it is. When
like
it's like
if you're
they
at
have to
dinner or
be
something
too
and the phone is
private.
flipped.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh.
You
At
know
that
what?
point, keep it in your pocket.
Yeah, don't even take it out.
Don't
Don't even bring it out.
One time I was dating this guy, and we had freshly started dating, and I was a server at the time, and he came in to eat, and he got a new phone, and he was showing me his new phone, and then he was holding it, showing me his new phone, so I went to grab it because I wanted to look at it, and he, like, snatched it out of my hand, and I was like, all right, we're done. Like,
Yeah.
He's all,
Yeah.
no, mm-mm.
And then that relationship lasted a little longer than it should have. Maybe like 10 years, but
She's like, and I still did not touch the phone.
we won't get into that. We won't get into that.
And I never
I
touched
should have
the
known
phone.
then.
Red flag.
When you're in your 20s, you know, sometimes you're like,
Man, we're
it
so
lasted-
nice.
It lasted too long.
know.
We're so nice to these sillies.
Oh.
You know what? Another ick is burping.
That's not a nick for me.
Yeah, it's not really either.
I think it's the
not
burping
sure.
without acknowledging it.
Yeah.
With like like an excuse me or like, oh, like my bad.
a talking through, like, "Bleh, what are we doing, Mom?" Like, what did
I'm a
what just
burper.
happened? I don't even know what just happened, you know? Like, Chris doesn't do that at all, thank the heavens. He has the best manners. In fact, I probably burp more than he does, but I'm like, I'm not shallow assholes. You guys know you like something.
No, and it's the talking through it or just not even like just doing it and then just keep talking and I'm like, you know, it lingers, correct? I'm just wondering. Like,
smell it.
Oh, I have a good
Send it
question.
away.
Oh, I'm
To
ready.
feed off of this.
Okay.
What was your worst date? Either you, if you want to think about
my
it, or you
goodness.
want to think about it.
Oh,
Do you have
then-
Oh
one?
no, it registers.
Yeah, I have. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
So
ready.
this was in my late 20s. I had to be 28. He told me he was running late. He's like, I'll come by. I'm going to pick you up. This is already like maybe third date now. Okay. So I'm like, okay, the guy's nice, whatever. Okay. See what happens. He comes, he gets out, he opens the car door, but to the back. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? He's like, I was having car troubles earlier, and this and that. I was like, oh, are you borrowing somebody's car? What's happening? And he goes to get around to the other side. Who the hell's driving? What's going on here? He opens it, and he's like, he opens the car. We're both sliding in at the same time, and he's like, well, it's because my mom was going to be on that side of town. And I said, is your mother? It's not Uber? We're not. It's not.
Wait, his mom was driving?
His mom was driving
Oh,
the
my
car
goodness.
to come
28?
28 years old.
on a date?
On the date. She was like,
No,
oh,
did
wait,
you
did you
go
go
on
the date?
What was I supposed to do?
That's your mama? I know.
Do I just
At least he treats his mama nice. He's
Was
like,
he
Mom,
nice to
I'm
his
going
mom?
on a date.
He was nice to his mom. She dropped us off at the restaurant.
Red flag.
That was the last date. I might have went to coffee with her, though. She was lovely. That was like,
You're all, I'll call you, don't call me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was mortified. And
That's a good
he
one.
thought of it just completely normal. He's like, yeah, it's because she was going to be on that side. Anyway, my car was acting up. And I'm like, I don't care if you came on a freaking bicycle at this point.
Ask me to drive.
Exactly. My car is just sitting in my driveway. We could have done it, guys.
Oh my God.
I promise you,
What
I
about
wouldn't
you,
have
Mel?
thought any less. I would have picked you up.
Hilarious.
My worst date involved a mom also.
Oh my God, we're all these moms.
It was probably my first date after I separated with my boy's dad. So I go on this date. First date, okay? First date. The guy lived here, but he was originally out of town. Like, he was from out of town. So we're sitting there, we're at dinner, and he keeps looking over my shoulder. And I'm like, what are you looking at? I'm turning, looking, and then I see him on his phone, and he's looking like, you're talking to somebody with your eyes. And finally I was like, who are you talking to? And he's like, my mom. I'm like, your mom? She's at the bar. His mom came into town. He didn't want to tell her, I guess, no, she couldn't come, or that he had a date. So I'm like, well, bring your mom over, I guess. The mom joined our date. Oh. First date. The mom joined our date.
Okay, how are these not red? I mean, no. These should be good flags, right? You're like, well, they like their moms, Like,
that's a little too much. First date.
I know.
First date, and you have your mom sitting at the bar? Like, babysitting you?
And what did you guys talk about?
This was at a restaurant. We were at a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
We were at a restaurant.
What did you guys talk about when the mom was there? Like,
that was another red flag. Like, that was why it was the first and last date, because she was grilling me on, like, what are your plans? Oh. What are your 5-year plans? Do you want more kids?
You're like, for you not to be on this date.
I was.
Mama who cares more about it than he does.
And the poor guy was mortified. He was just like, I felt so bad for him.
But what if I went the other way, like, oh, my bunions, or, oh, I've had a day with this back, I feel like that could have been weird, too.
Yeah.
What's your worst date?
Ooh, my worst date? I can't really think of one.
You
have to come back to me.
This wasn't a worst date, but the very first date Chris and I went on, his car ran out of gas. Legitimately. And I was like, oh, shoot. And he's like, and to this day, if you know my Chris, this is normal. He's like, well, he doesn't run out of gas all the time, but he just doesn't care about that stuff. He's like, it's just not for him.
The Lord's going to get me.
Prayers and
we're running on my hopes and dreams.
But let me tell you what he ended up doing. We were downtown, and you know how it's like really hilly? This man of mine was like, just steer it. And I'm like, okay, let me steer it. He pushed the car with his strength of his legs up the hill. And all the while, I felt like I was helping. And I turned, and he's just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I was like, what? My man. And we got it there. We walked all downtown. There's no gas stations downtown, as you know. We got to the gas station, and we forgot the gas can.
Oh, my goodness.
I have a story. Okay, it's because I haven't really
that
dated.
That was my first date, not worst date.
Okay, my worst date ever was this. I don't even remember where I met him, to be honest, but we went to eat on Mesa Street when it was where Specs by UTEP is now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it used to be Mesa Street Grill there, and I lived on the west side.
What was the bar behind it, or
Black Market?
Oh my gosh, the Black Market.
So
I
don't even. It's because BC Mary used to be a bartender, and I worked in the bar industry, and So
episode BC Mary.
Yeah, I had, I had a come to Jesus moment, but I used to bartend, and I used to be in that world, and so I met this guy bartending, and he was really nice. He was in the Marines. He was actually in the Marines. He had just come home from, I guess, deployment. I don't know where the heck he came from. And he was, like, adamant about having my number. And I was like, not really. He wasn't really my style, my type, I guess. But I was like, whatever. He's kind of nice. He was buff or whatever. And then so we go on a date the next day. He's like, because I went to UTEP. And I was like, we'll have a break between blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, I'll meet you at Mesa Street so I don't have to go get my car or whatever, right? He's like, I'll meet you there. I'm like, okay, so we're there. I order food. And mind you, Mesa Street is not cheap. Like, it's not, especially for a college.
Currently.
Yeah, right. Especially for a college girl, right? And so, so he goes to me. I'm like, oh, he has money, like this, I haven't been to Mesa Street. I used to go to like Chico's all the time. So I was like, oh, like he wants to take me somewhere nice. And so we go to Mesa Street. And he orders or whatever, and this guy tells me, oh, I forgot my wallet. And not that I expected him to pay. Like, I didn't, but at least I could pay for mine, and
now
you
gotta
pay for
both of
yours.
you.
And now I have to pay for both of us, and I'm a broke college student. And I just remember, the tab was like $60, and I just remember being like, oh. because $60 in
Mhm.
2007 or whatever it was is like
That's either your eating
2008.
or your electric bill. Those
yeah,
are your
right,
options.
exactly. And I had my own apartment by myself, so I was like constantly trying to, and my car payment, you know, I was trying to survive. And I just remember being like, this is it. Like, and that guy was so persistent to try to go back to my apartment. And yeah, I was like,
no, baby,
no,
don't. This
I
is
got
not for
places.
us.
Yeah.
Honey, because he didn't have his wallet, but he had the audacity.
Yes, he had the audacity. I'm like,
No wallet, but
please
audacity.
don't ever call me. I didn't know how to politely be like, we won't talk anymore, friend. Not because of that. It was just like the way he went about it. He was like, well, I don't have my wallet. Like almost like,
Oh my
Like,
god.
he knew what he was doing.
yes, he knew what he
Yes.
was doing. And I was just like, ew. But I should have known because when I was taking care of him, the bartender, when I was bartending and I was, you know, serving them, he tipped me like $5, and I was then their tab was like, I don't know, $180. I'm like,
Oh my
maybe he just didn't see
gosh.
the zero. Maybe he thought it was $18. I don't know. Just so-
Girl, this is
Should have
bad.
known.
Red flag.
Red
Red
flag.
Yeah.
Oh, girls, we just learned so much about your dating lives.
Is there anything else that you want to share? Like, do you want to talk about your, like, how's your relationship with your your kid's father?
You know what? We are at a good place right now. When we separated, it was really toxic. It was really bad. It was bad. Without going too much into detail, it was bad. But over the years, we've come to a place where we can really co-parent now. Well, Carla's at all of the sporting events. He's there. He's there.
So you would never guess that you guys had like turbulence on your plane. You guys co-parent beautifully. I mean, the man says 3 words. I got him to give me 1 hug. However, you guys function so well. Even at church, you were like, make room, Nick can sit right here. And then he came in with his mom. And you were like, make room. And
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
that's-
oh my gosh, that's a really pretty,
Right.
that's a pretty relationship. To
Right.
get to that point and there be no
And I'm
ruffled
glad,
feathers.
because that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, like
Absolutely.
sporting events, we sit together.
You do.
Yeah, we're
and your
always
whole
together.
family welcomes him so
Exactly.
beautifully. Even his family welcomes
Yes.
him. It's a really
I feel
nice.
like that's very, very mature.
Very
definitely.
mature.
Like, does his partner, whoever he's dating, do they come along, or does he kind of separate it when?
I've never met anybody he's dated.
Oh, he kind of keeps it
yeah,
separate.
he keeps it separate.
Good for him.
I do
unless
admire
it's
that.
And I don't mind.
serious,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. Obviously, we've been separated for so long. So if he dates, perfect. I want him to be happy, I mean, I think everybody deserves to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to bring somebody around my kids, that's all I want, is let me meet them. Let me, get a feel for them. I just want them to treat my kids right.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want my,
You got over the young age though. Like both of your boys are old enough to.
Yeah.
Like there's no like.
They're
worries.
old enough now,
to where it's not weird.
right.
Mhm.
So,
Meeting
yeah, I
somebody
mean,
is like dad's dating, no big deal.
right. So we've come a long way, and I'm so happy. Like, I'm fortunate for that.
Yeah.
It could still get better.
How did
It
it
could still
get there
get better.
though? Like, what do you think that you did? Because I'm sure there's going to be people watching that are going to be like, I
Our
can't.
passengers are not people. They are.
Oh, sorry, passengers.
They're on our plane.
They are probably watching and they're like, I wish I could co-parent. Like, I wish I could get to that level, where,
Watch the traffic.
oh, sorry, where I could get to that level and we could just all get along and you know what I mean? So, like, how did you guys get there? Was it more you? Was it more him?
You know what? I've always been very, like, my kids have his family. Like, I've never been one to keep my kids away from him, keep my kids away from his family. He had a lot of growing up to do, a lot of growing up on his part to do. So I think over the years, he realized what he needed to do, and he bettered himself, not only as a dad, but as a man overall. So I think it took a lot on his part,
Yeah.
Because it
And-
says, like, when we have kids, we kind of, women grow up right away. Like, we
Right.
we
Right.
know.
Oh,
right?
and for sure. I
And
mean,
it takes men kind of a little bit longer.
yeah. And looking
some,
back on it,
yeah.
I mean, he
Most of the time.
wasn't maybe ready to be a dad at the time. For
How old
both
was
kids.
he when you guys had Brendan? How old were you guys?
I was 23 and he was 27.
Oh.
So
I didn't know there was an older a
mhm,
gap.
he's 4 years older than me.
Oh wow.
So
And he copy-pasted both your sons.
He sure did.
It's wild. And then when the brothers come, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I know.
They're
Copy
genes.
Everybody, all of them,
Genes.
all the
kids,
grandsons,
all of them.
everybody looks.
His genes are strong.
Yeah.
They're super
They are.
strong.
I think that's so cool, though. I'm like, I wish Maddie was like identical to me. Some people say, but I'm like, I want that. That's neat, though.
cute.
What's the relationship with yours?
It's non-existent, but it's better that way. Honestly,
okay.
yeah. We've gone through a lot of different lifetimes with each other. So we're at a point right now because my son is primarily the one that goes and visits, where he's older. So, and he has a cell phone, so he can speak directly to our son. And that's pretty much, we have very minimal communication. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I tried for a very long time to keep that co-parenting communication, kind of what you're outlining, what you're saying, like that's what's in my heart. And that's because I grew up in a blended family. Like, I have an amazing stepdad who raised me. He took us in. He never treated us like, oh, these are my stepkids. People, we would walk through the mall and they're like, oh, your daughter looks like you. I'm like, I do. To this day, no.
So you're still tight with your stepdad?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
my dad. I hate even saying stepdad. That's my dad. He raised us. He's amazing with my kids. He's very close with my kids. So I had an expectation of that, and I think I actually carry that into my dating life as well. Like,
Yeah,
anybody
you
who
look for
comes
that.
into my kids' lives, like, the bar is up here.
For sure.
It really is. And so with with my son's father, because my daughter's dad has never been involved, I just felt it was better, like, whatever relationship my son chooses to have with him, because he's old enough to understand and to know that's what they need to build together. I've had all the talks, we've done all the arguments and all of that, and it just wasn't healthy for anybody, and I just wanted to keep the peace. I love his family. His mom and his sister have always been super involved with my son to this day. Literally, my son was with them this past weekend, even with my daughter. And they've always been really great and a really amazing support system. So I always just try to keep the peace with that. I never did it's not your weekend, it's not this. I'm like, you want him, take him. You know, I love having my son, but I want them to have that time with him, especially because he's getting so much older.
Right,
you know,
right.
if my son likes to go over there, I'm like, yes, go have time with him,
Yeah.
go do it.
Can I ask you a question? And this is
Absolutely.
because I was married prior and I had 3 daughters with my first husband, and then I have a daughter now with my now husband. And the one thing that I can't get used to is the holidays and splitting the holidays and, like, you know, I can't. And not that it does get easier, 1,000%. It does get easier. But how do you? Or I'll start with you, and then we'll get to Sarah. But how do you deal with that? Like, is it very easy? You guys just kind of, you know, split time, or like, how does that look for you?
Well, it's easy because I still invite him over for the holidays.
And he goes.
And he goes.
That's
you know?
awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, like, for example, Christmas coming up. It's always been known that Christmas Eve is my side of the family's. That's when we celebrate Christmas. So, you know, we'll do Christmas Eve there. He's more than welcome to come. I always invite him, his dad, his brothers, you know, if his other brothers are in town. I mean, everyone's welcome to come. And then Christmas Day, the boys do go over there with him. You know, they do the presents. They stay with me, of course. Christmas Eve, we do presents at home, and then they go to their dad's, spend the whole day with the dad's family.
And do you think if you had a partner that you would still be that open with him, like to him coming around? You'd hope to.
I
keep
would
it?
hope to. I
Yeah.
would hope to, because at the end
From
of
a
the day,
mature level, right?
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He is my boy's dad at the end of the day. You know,
Right.
I mean, and I'm just glad that we are to a point where we can.
I was going to say, I love that he goes.
Yeah.
Because there's always an invitation, and then, like, I always invite him, but he never comes. And I love that he's just, like, front and center, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and it is. You know,
it's
it's
nice.
it's come a long ways to where he is more involved now, and I love that because I mean, at the end of the day, it's my boys. Like
Yeah,
he
it's
needs
for
to be there
them.
for my boys.
Yeah, it's
you
for
know.
them. That is
So
nice.
yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
We've been doing the split holidays for quite some time. I still don't like it. I'm just
But it's
kidding.
just hard to
It's
get
just
used
it is.
to.
It's
Yeah,
just hard. I'm okay with it in the sense that, like, my son goes over there and he has a blast. And his godmother just recently got married, and her husband's really great with my son, and then he brings his nephews, and my son loves going over there. And they're, like I said, his extended family is always really amazing with my son. It is hard to share because my family's always like, oh, we want to take pictures. I'm like, wait, he's not here yet, you know? I want everybody here. So that gets hard for me personally.
The pictures.
Yes.
There's, my sister is in this big, blended, beautiful family, and there's always someone missing. And it's random, like he has a game, or the other one's working, or there's so many things, and it's always like if you look at our big family photo, someone's always missing.
Yes,
I'm
and
like,
it's rough, and I don't like that. So we wait until he
copy and
comes.
paste them in.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I have a super small family. Like my mom, it's just my mom and my brother that are here, so we have a super small family.
Your twin brother.
My twin brother.
I love it. Say it.
And then, my husband's family is a little bit bigger, but yeah, it gets hard because it's like I have to do stuff with my mom and then my husband's family, and then they got to spend time with their dad. So, like, still navigating all that.
I don't think
Yes.
it ever gets easy because you guys all have to split holidays. Me and my husband we don't have to split holidays, but we have the big, beautiful family that everyone wants to celebrate. So it's like, now I feel like a divorced family. We're going here, and we're going there, and we're going here. And you know what? I want to know why no one's fighting for us on St. Patrick's Day, President's Day. Why are these
Flag
not?
Day.
I'm like really into TikTok right now, and so
TikTok University me up.
oh, sorry, I keep slamming the table.
Ray?
Sorry. It taught me that it's like, stop making it seem like you can only celebrate Christmas on Christmas. Like, you can do it, like, you know what I mean? Or like Thanksgiving
Because
on Thanksgiving.
The families that have, like, the trucker families. My dad was a truck driver, so he would be out on that particular day, and my mom made it just as magical the day before, the day after, 2 days after, and it was like the same, like, oh, we're celebrating Christmas Day on the 29th.
I think
It's
I'm
not
starting
weird.
to get better about that.
I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, like, the train drivers and stuff, all of them when they're out of town on those days, it's like, do you really have to miss it? No.
Like, even nurses, like, there's nurses,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
nurses,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know, firefighters, I'm sure. So I'm sure that they do like a different.
Oh, my sister too. My sister, her husband's police, and he chooses to work on the holidays to get that extra pay, and then they have a wonderful holiday the next day.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just making your family balance out without it being so.
And that
big.
takes time. Yes, that takes time to be okay with that. We never.
Because there's family members who are like,
Yes.
no,
No, it
we're
has
not
to
doing
be
it.
this
It
way.
has to
Yes,
be.
yes.
Your birthday has to be.
Yeah, and I think that's why we kind of made an agreement, like, from the very beginning. We were never going to do, like, every other year, you're supposed to split time and odd years and even years, however that goes. We were just like, we're going to split the day. Like, I want you to have him on Christmas. I want you to have him on this. And even his birthday, we would plan out, okay, you're going to do his party here and I'm going to do his party here, just because I don't want anybody to miss out. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Different strokes for different families, no big deal.
I had a question in my.
The
Okay,
brain
I
fog.
do have a question. So, is there, for any of our passengers that are listening, do you have any advice or wisdom that you would tell them, kind of if they're navigating, the dating life and all that stuff? Like, do you have any wisdom that you'd want to share? Anybody? It's open. The floor is open.
I would say, and I actually read this very recently, and I really loved it because I think it's going to help me navigate as I go into my single season, because it's going to be a season. I usually take breaks in between, guys. The last time was like 6 months between, but anyway. They say to make a list of all the attributes that you want in a partner, right? But make sure you are that as well.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. So you cannot ask for what you are not willing to be.
Oh, I love that.
So it really calls attention to the things that you need to improve within yourself.
Or the stuff that's not important that you think is.
Exactly.
I always tell my husband that. He gets so mad at me. I'm like, well, what's important to you isn't important to me.
Exactly.
And then it's kind of
Yes.
like, you have to kind of ask them, well, what's important to you,
Absolutely.
right?
Or pick
and you
your
can't,
battle.
You can't
Oh, yeah,
assume
that's
it. You just can't. And I think I was just having this conversation earlier where someone's like, that's not a big deal. And I'm like, to you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
It's a big deal to me, so address it as such. We'll just respect each other's feelings. That's it. And I have these conversations with friends, with family. It just, it really is that. I think it's the whole healed thing. People saying being healed before you get into another relationship is very tricky, because you can be healed. Anybody can be healed. when they're by themselves. There's nobody there to trigger you.
Right.
But do the work.
Yes.
Do the work so you know that when that happens and you are in a relationship, you know how to address it, including another
Like in
person.
a healthy
In a healthy way. Yes. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the times that it really tests you to be healed. And I learned that from my last relationship where I was like, no, I got over this and this and this, and then like little things would trigger and I'm like, oh, I'm not over that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's somebody brings it out of you and you have
Mm-hmm.
to learn how do you want to approach it and how is it going to be different this time.
Yeah, I went through this program because when I got divorced, you know, I was a train wreck. I did like
I beg to differ. You were perfect.
no, that's when I found Jesus, and then you know I got into all that, and I went through this program, and it really helped me reflect on myself because I was the victim. I was like, no, they did this to me. They did that to me. But it's like, no, like I contributed too, you know, and for me to take accountability really helped me heal. Like you were saying, like it helped me take responsibility for how I was behaving. And so that program literally like saved me really. And it's true. Like when I was single, I started to understand myself a little bit better because I used to like, I would be in a relationship and I would be like, oh, they're going to fulfill me. They're going to make, but it's like, no, if you're not fulfilled by yourself and
Yes.
yourself, like, nobody's going to fulfill you. Because then you get married and you get the icks and you get the, but it's like, I say this over and over, love is not a feeling, it's a choice, you know, like you, so that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I feel like I've been single for so long that I don't know if I would be comfortable with somebody coming into my space full time like that.
Well, I saw, again on TikTok,
My girl.
this couple, they tried to, so that he has kids, she has kids, and they tried to live together, but their sleep schedules were weird because they were so used to being separate. So they have 2 separate houses, but they like spend time together.
That's like my ideal
yeah,
situation.
I thought about you when I saw it. I
Well,
swear.
it is.
I was
you
like,
know?
I
Well,
bet
it-
Val, that's what Val would need because
It's hard to share space
It
when
is.
being single for
so
so
long.
long.
Yeah.
Especially when you're by yourself, you have your single behavior, and then there's this other human who just loves to like get in there with you. Like, and I love Chris for all of his quirks, but he is a in your bubble person. And I'm like, oh, I'm not eating that. Oh, you go for it. Oh, I guess I'm sharing that too. Like everything is just like, well, this is married, and I love it, but it's not for everybody. And I
Right.
think when you're single for so long, you cannot have your sinks this way or
Right.
your this it's your space and you like it the way you like it, you know. My sister was that person and she had to really change
Yeah,
or
and-
all, like re-plug things in when she got married.
It's because I have my routine. You know, you have your routine and you're used to just, you don't wait for somebody else. It's like,
Right.
I need to do this. My kids need to go here. I need to do this. So
Yes.
trying to insert somebody else, like, I mean, of course, I would love somebody else to be there to help me, but ideally, I don't know if I would be able to squeeze them in.
I'm sure
and-
you
Or
would.
maybe
Yes.
even
I mean,
after
they-
like the mamahood, like
Right.
when
And-
it's
and I
all
shouldn't
your
say
little
that.
babies leave the nest, maybe
Yeah.
that's a different, like complete different.
Right. And I guess I shouldn't say I don't know if I'm ready for somebody to squeeze in because I did. I fit somebody into my life, you know, before. I did.
Yeah.
I
So,
think you're ready. I think it just has to be somebody really spectacular.
yeah.
And
For
I
sure.
think
and
I
you
agree.
deserve it.
You
Like I
des-
think you're to
yeah,
the
I
point where
do.
you're like,
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
you're to the
she's
point
like,
too.
The both of you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she doesn't, she knows what you're gonna put up with and what
Right.
you're not. So I think that's, you know, a lot of us put up with the bare minimum. Not us, but like women and some women, you know, and I think they're starting to get smarter and they're like, I don't want the bare minimum anymore, you know,
Yeah.
I want,
A little. Can you try a little bit more?
yeah.
And just like Sarah said, I mean, it's now, we can vocalize. Like, it's easier to vocalize now to a partner. Like, hey, I'm not okay with this.
Yes.
You know?
Mm,
And
then
it's not going to end the relationship.
Right,
not,
We can
right.
have a little bit of
Yes.
disagreement. Yeah.
some
And if it
turbulence,
does,
you
then
will.
it's
Turbulence.
And if it does, honestly, that's not your person.
Yeah.
That's
right.
the way I see it. I'm like, if somebody or the relationship can end over what you are feeling, like what were we standing on here?
We
What
fell
was this-
through.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, we have to talk about your New Year's Eve resolution or your New Year's resolution. What are your New Year's resolutions? Because we are, in fact, celebrating on
yes,
this jumbo
New
jet.
Year's.
2025.
2025! I'll tell you guys what if you want to gather your thoughts. I want to be better in 2025 about what I'm inputting in my body, what ingredients, what my healthy meal planning for my family, just to try to be a little bit better next year.
No, that's a good one.
that.
That's a good one.
It's a simple effort. What's yours?
I haven't thought of mine yet. Does anybody?
I gave you an outline.
I know, but I promise I'm always thinking about it. I'm like, I'm going to do this, but I say that every year, and it's just...
I always, you know what I always say my go-to? I'm going to stop cursing.
Hey, but you did this year.
I am so, not
I'm like,
one,
when did she?
Not one. I pick and choose.
Around me, I haven't heard it cuss.
No, I've been doing really good.
No, you
but
have,
that's always
you
like
have.
my go-to. If I'm like the clock strikes 12, I'm like, I'm gonna stop cursing as I'm eating my grapes.
And your lima beans, or what is it?
No,
The black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed
My
peas,
mom
yes.
is all about that. I don't really have a tradition.
Oh, you
for
know
that.
what? I did want to tell you guys about like New Year's Eve. You know what? I like good luck and bad lucks. Like it's good luck to put an empty suitcase by your front door.
Does that mean you're going to travel a lot?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, and then another one
2025
is
is here.
kissing your partner when the clock strikes 12 because it'll give you good luck with love in the future, or in the 2025 in the year. Have you guys ever heard of any of these?
I've heard of the suitcase. I've heard of the grapes. The 12
heard of the
grapes.
grapes.
12 grapes.
Sitting under a table.
Oh,
Sitting under a table?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna sit under a table. Or opening the windows to let all the bad energy
yes.
out and let good energy in. Do you guys do any of these?
The grapes I have done.
I do the
have done. My
grapes.
sister-in-law last year, she was like, we have to do the grapes.
And it's
So we
funny
did do the
because
grapes.
when you go to Walmart, they're out. Like you have to get them
The
early.
grapes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to get the grapes early. This is a big thing here in El
Oh,
Paso.
wow, yeah.
Do you? What do you do?
My mom does the grapes.
Does she?
But I'll be honest with you, the past few New Year's, my husband and I haven't even been awake.
Aw.
Oh my god!
I know.
I'm a little
Because
shook.
my kids are usually with like their dad's their dad's mom, and so I don't know. Just like when I don't have my kids, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to sleep.
You know what? I think
She's
that's
like,
bad
9 o'clock.
luck.
I know. I'm like, "Good night, I love you. See you next year."
You know what? My sister one time, she was staying with us in New Year's, and me and Chris were like counting down the time. We were so excited, and then we turn and we're like, "Where is she?" In the shower when the clock struck 12.
She wanted to wash off the previous year.
You want to kiss me? You know? Get this good for you. And she was like not having it. I'm all,
Oh my
why are you in a bad mood?
Did you think of your New Year's resolution?
I did. It's actually to say yes more.
Oh.
Because I feel like I'm so comfortable in just being a homebody that I'm always like, I think I'll pass on that. So I am going to say yes more and try to
I'm looking
like
forward
venture
to that.
out more.
Yeah. Try new things. I feel
Yes.
like or even like girl dates are becoming more fun. Like
Yes,
I remember one of our girl
absolutely.
dates was climbing Mount Crisore.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of my favorite memories.
That was hard. And Carla and I are so oblivious to like the dangers of actually being out there alone on a weekday. And so we're out there, just her and I, climbing this mountain, and it's literally on the border of like Mexico.
You have a thing for mountain climbing. You took me mountain climbing one time, and I felt like I almost slid down the mountain a few times.
Oh, we need to make a hiking trip. What's
Say
yours?
yes more.
What's your New Year's?
You know, I like what you said about the ingredients. Mine is actually more on allowing what I like, being more conscious of what I allow in my life.
Oh.
So, what am I listening to? What am I outputting? Just being more positive of those things. I think we're not super aware of ourselves and what we're saying sometimes, or what we allow people to bring into our lives. Even when people because I like to ask people if they have the emotional capacity to hear me. I'll call my mom, do you have the emotional capacity? Because my day was something. Because I've had people call and vent to me when I've had a day, and I'm like, I don't have room for you in here.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever
Yes.
you have a bad day, I have a bad day, and I'm like, we're both just having a bad day.
See, but I'm okay with that. We could just both
Oh, yeah,
dump it in a
let's
jar and
just-
kick it. But I think it's that. I think I became more aware actually with my daughter, is who brought it to my attention when she realized the group of friends that, she had around herself, and this was a couple of years ago, and she's like, we really have to be more aware what we have as our circle. And I'm like, why are you so smart? And honestly,
Wisdom she is.
I have
Amazing.
a lot of great acquaintances. I have a very small circle of friends that you can pick up right where you left off, no matter how long, time has passed. But just being very conscious of what you're allowing into your life, because that is going to bring you your I want to say yes more, and I want to have the adventures, and because you bring good people with you, make those great memories, and that's what I want more of in 2025. It's just
And
great
I will be there to
memories.
help you eat healthier.
Yes, and I will speak the lovely
You
things.
eat pretty healthy.
I do not.
You do.
You do. I was in my my pantry. Oh, by the way, I was in my mom. Let's talk about my mom's pantry. It was amazing. She always tells me, "Help me, help me." No, when she flies, she flies. I was in there and I was like, "Wow, there's so many healthy foods in here." And I was thinking my pantry was like not. I have like chips and craziness, and she had healthy everything. So I was like, "This is impressive." And
Well, she's inspiring you.
yes, she really was without even knowing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of mine. I've been working on that too, is kind of being more cautious on what I'm hearing, allowing in my spirit, and because it is true, like what you speak is what you believe, and so I've been very
I
cautious.
say some crazy things sometimes. So I need to be more mindful of the nonsense I am spitting
Yeah,
out.
so I'm starting to believe a lot more things about positive things, and I'm starting to speak them to my kids and stuff. So yeah, that's probably going to be mine, is just to be more intentional in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really love that. Well, girls, thanks for catching a flight with us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yay! It was fun.
This was a good show. Welcome to Red-Eye Flights. This is going to be our thing. We're going to have it once a month, and we'll be inviting some fun guests.
To
Have some
come
girl talk.
chat, a little different from what we normally do on Smooth Landing, but, kind of getting different perspectives and stuff. So I enjoyed it. It was awesome.
It was great.
Yay.
It was fun. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for catching a flight with us today, passengers.
Like and subscribe below.